Sarah Zolecki. How are you? I'm so excited to spend a couple minutes with you guys. We are going to talk about prospecting. We're going to talk about building long-term friendships and relationships, which obviously is the name of the game, right? And so I have got about 30 minutes that I'm going to spend with you guys just talking and pouring into you about just all kinds of good stuff. So here's the thing. I am all about acronyms. Anybody else love acronyms? I love them because it helps me remember things. And a lot of you guys know I've been so blessed. I've been in network marketing for, 20 years. I mean, I'm the girl that literally grew up in this amazing profession. And so when I was about 5 years into the business, I thought, you know what? I want to kind of make prospecting a little bit more simple. So how do I do that? And so I actually created something that's called the prospecting system, right? And so I actually used the word prospect and I broke it up into acronyms that really helped me just stay connected with prospecting. Because at the end of the day, guys, I really think it's important for us to realize that we really just do a couple things in our business every day, right? We talk to people and we talk to people and we talk to people, right? And sometimes when we hear the word prospect, it doesn't sound that exciting, right? It kind of sounds like, I almost don't even like the word recruit either. I'm all about building the relationships and cultivating and making friends. Like, doesn't that sound a whole lot better, right? So I was like, how do I make this word prospect sound more fun? And so I actually broke it up into different segments of learning how to be a better prospector, learning about how to do a better job of going out there, finding people and bringing them into this amazing business, right? So I want to encourage you, if you're not taking notes, you're going to want to grab a pen and paper. Good news is, guess what? You can watch this on the replay and you'll be able to tag a lot of people that maybe are working or what have you. And so they can watch this later on. So let's go into the first one, okay? So the very first one, the very first one that I want to share with you, P for the word prospect, is purpose, okay? Is purpose. And so there's a couple different things. I'm going to be looking down a little bit because if you guys saw all of my notes, you'd be like, oh my word, because I wanted to pour everything that I possibly could into you guys because I was so blessed to get a phone call and said, hey, would you mind jumping in this group? So obviously, yes, here I am. So first thing is purpose, right? So what I wrote down for purpose is this. Is that even before you go into presenting or inviting or any of that, it's so important, guys, for us to have our purpose lined up because we're going to go into connecting with people on a totally different level, on a much better level, on a level where people are actually open to hearing from us. So what I wrote for purpose is this. What is your vision? Right? So what is your vision for the business, right? And we all know, guys, there's amazing core values here at this company. There's an amazing vision that this company has. Your upline probably has an amazing vision, but I'm talking to you. What is your vision, right? If someone asks you, what's your vision? Could you spout it off and tell them, right? Would it roll off the tip of your tongue right away? Right? So figure out what is a vision, and not just a vision of making money, but what's a vision that you see that you get to be a part of, right? And I want to encourage you. I want you to have a vision that's much bigger than you. I want to have you, like when you write down the vision, that you actually probably giggle and you laugh and you go, God, that sounds crazy, right? I want it to be that. I want it to be bigger where you're like, holy crap, that really scares me. Because that's the thing. I tell people, the reason I feel that Tony and I have had the success that we've had over the years is because we had a vision that we threw out, right? I mean, I'm talking we threw out so far that we are chasing it every single day. That our vision literally is leaving us a little bit breathless. Like you want to be panting, right? You want to be breathless when it comes to your vision, okay? So, number one, what is your vision, okay? Number two, I wrote in there, is what is your intent? Because one thing that I share with people is that what is your intent when you're going into connecting with people, right? And it's important to always, guys, I tell people, have a clean motive. Have a motive that when you're going in to connect with people, you have their very best interests at heart, right? Every time before I ATM someone, before I connect with someone, I connect with people everywhere, guys. Like, yes, I use the ATM system, but if I'm out running around, I'm not quiet. I still talk to people. I still connect. I am connecting with as many people as I can. So when I go and I connect with people, I always check myself. I give myself like 10 seconds where I'm like, Sarah, check your motive. How is it? Is it a good motive? What's your intent? Where are you at with this person, right? Super, super important. So with my intent, okay, so for example, I'll tell you what my intent is, okay? These are a couple things that I say to myself. I believe in my heart. I tell people, if your belief, I guess, so to speak, in yourself, in this business, in this profession is weak, you're going to have a weak invite. So I want to encourage you to, obviously you're in this amazing group, so there's so much belief, there's so much encouragement, there's so much just good stuff in here that you do the very best job that you can to grow your belief, okay? And so my whole thing with my intent when I go into connecting with people is two things. Number one, I truly believe in my heart of hearts with every cell in my body that I give people a better life, right? That I give people a better life. When I go to connect with people, it's not, I want you to join my business. It's not, I need you to get in this business. It's not, I need to get a sale. I need to get a customer. I just need to get one person on my team, right? I've been there. I have been in that situation, right? But my intent is that I really believe that I can offer someone a better life, right? With this amazing business. Number two, I have two missions. My missions is this. Number one, my mission is to help women love their bodies again. And number two, my mission is to bring moms home. So in my heart, when I go to connect with people, those intentions, like they're so strong. And guess what? Like, I don't care if you copy that stuff and take that. If that's part of some of your mission, then run with it, right? Run with it. But I want to encourage you, like when you show up with a big intent, you're just gonna be so much stronger, right? People talk about creating posture, right? I was so confused by that early on in my business. I was like, how do I create posture? It sounds so weird. It sounds kind of ego. It sounds kind of, I don't really know how to create posture, right? But what helped me kind of naturally develop that is just coming in with like, having a good intent, having a good motive, having missions, right? That I had before I even opened my mouth and said hi to someone, before I even tried to start a relationship or build a friendship, I was prepared even before I did that. And I want to encourage you to be prepared because that part is the hard part. The inviting, the prospecting, all that's the easy part of the business. That's the simple part of the business once you get this piece down, right? So I tell people, go in with purpose, right? Having purpose is so, so important, right? And I encourage you guys, like once you've got your intent right, you're not worried about apologizing about anything. I tell people, once you have all that down, I am so proud of what I do. I am so proud. Like I wait for people to ask me, so what do you do? Like I love that because I am very strong in my intent now, right? And guys, I created this intent before I had any success, before I built a business in this business, but I knew that I needed to have that strong. Otherwise, it was going to be very hard for me to prospect. I knew that. And I had to get that strong right away in the beginning of my business, okay? So first P is purpose. The second one are relationships, right? Relationships. So I think it's important for all of us to understand. Some of my stuff kind of ties in with each and the other, but I think it's important. Okay. So relationships. I wrote down, how do you connect with people? Okay. How do you connect with people? And I think for a lot of us, it's so important, even though I know we want this business to work so bad, a lot of us are in situations where we need to make money like yesterday, like we got to get this going. Maybe we don't have a supportive spouse or partner and we're like, oh my gosh, we need to get a check to show them this works, like whatever it is, right? Maybe we don't have a strong belief yet, right? I don't know what that is for you. But what I want you to understand is that, you know, my whole thing is that going out there when you're connecting with people, guys, a lot of us, we've heard this already, but I just need to repeat it, is going out there and just is making a friend, right? And I know that there's different things that people do. People talk about, well, do I do more direct approach or indirect or what have you? Here's the thing for me. Most of us, we're women on this, in this company, right? Dudes, I'm not leaving you out. I know there's a lot of guys too, but women, like we are about the relationships. So I tell people, go out there and make a friend. Like every day, my goal, guys, when I go out there is I'm like, I'm going to make a new friend. I'm going to make a new friend. I'm going to make a new friend. Like seriously, one of my things is I'm like, you know what? I want to outfriend everybody out there. That's what I do. I'm like, I'm going to go out there and build real, true, genuine friendships, right? Building those and complimenting people, right? And making sure that as I live my life, it's friendships first, right? My business second, friendships first, and my business second. And people know that. And they don't think that I'm, coming to connect with them to get them in my business. They know that I believe that every person that I meet in my life, either A, they're going to enrich my life, or B, I'm going to enrich theirs. And either way, it's a win-win. Like that is truly, again, that's my motive, right? How I show up, my intent every day as I'm building relationships. And I don't go in there going, I want you to join my business. I go in there going, man, this person somehow, they're going to enrich my life. They're going to breathe life in me. They're going to tell me something today that I need to hear. Whether it's being a better parent or a better mom or doing something healthier for my body or maybe time management stuff or I don't know, maybe just an aha moment that was like a God wink that God couldn't get through to me and that person could. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's how I go into all of this, right? So I think too, Victoria just posted, she goes, I'm so inward, making friends can be tough. I get that. Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a little bit of tough love. You might not want to hear this, okay? One of my early mentors was a gentleman by the name of Eric Worre, okay? And one of the things that he shared with me is he's like, Sarah, everything that we tell ourselves is a choice. For example, like when Tony first started the business, Tony said, I'm so shy. And he stopped Tony. He said, Tony, you know what? Shy is a choice. Like shy is a choice. It's not about, it's not about you. It's about, hey, getting out there and pouring value into people and loving people. And yes, you might be shy, but you know what though? There's somebody that needs your love. There's somebody that needs your care. That's somebody that needs your encouragement. Like you might be shy, but again, this business isn't about you, right? It's about other people. And I will tell you, there's times for me that I've needed to hear that, not about being shy, but about other things where it's like, Sarah, okay, you got to remember, like, this isn't about you. And I was like, oh. So Tony decided, well, you know what? People do need my encouragement. People do need an ear. People do need that, right? And so once he was able to replace that, oh my gosh, a lot of things changed for him, right? A lot of things changed for him. So thank you for bringing that up because you know what? So many of us, we feel that way. I get that. So thank you for being vulnerable on here. Thank you for sharing that because that is true. That is true for so many of us. Also too, guys, with relationships, it's important. I always tell people, and we hear it again, we've heard this, but I think it's just so good for repetition, is that, learning, get to know people, right? I've asked people so many questions. Guys, it's so funny. I remember one time being on an airplane, and I was on an airplane, and some of you guys like to talk to people, some of you don't, just depends on my mood. And I was sitting there talking with someone, and it's so funny because I just got to know them. I asked them every question possible. Their kids, where they're from, what they love to do, their occupation, what gets them excited about life, like all this stuff, right? And by the time that conversation ended, we had landed, that person, you know what that was so funny? That person never asked me one question about me. They didn't know where I lived. They didn't know my family. They knew nothing. But they said, wow, that was probably one of the most unbelievable conversations I've ever had. This person said that. And you know what they did the whole time? They talked. They told me everything about them, but I listened and I was a good ear and I cared more about them than anything. They were like so blown away on what an amazing conversation that was. And I didn't really do anything. I just kind of asked the questions and got to know them. And I think it's so important, guys, that, when I connect with people, I am 100% committed. I wrote this down for my notes. I'm 100% committed to really know that person. So when you're out prospecting, when you're connecting with people, I want to encourage you to be 100% committed to really know them, right? To really know them. I wrote this question down. What are we offering them? What does my prospect need to hear from us or from me, right, in order to understand us? And so it's that whole kind of like just getting to know them, learning about them, finding out what gets them excited, what makes them tick, what motivates them, right? And I think too, guys, like for me, I just do everything I possibly can to learn about them. To learn about them, to find out because at the end of the day, what I will share with you is that I believe that every person that we talk to, there's going to be something that's going to trigger them. I believe that there's everyone that we talk to, I believe that Modera is for them. And we just have to listen. And they'll tell you if you ask questions, if you ask enough questions, you're going to find out the reason why they need to do Modera. Whether it's they need to spend more time with their kids, or they're tired of being overweight, or they're tired of being tired, or they're tired of not having, driving a junky car. They haven't gone on vacation in months. They are tired of somebody else raising their kids, right? They're tired of at the end of every month, like having more bills than they are money. They're tired. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like they will tell you if you listen. They will tell you if you ask enough questions. Sometimes people say, well, Sarah, they haven't told me yet. Well, then you haven't asked enough questions. Like you have to be that 5-year-old kid. How many of us, we know we've got kids, right? And they ask you a question on top of a question, on top of a question, on top of a question. Like that is literally what you want to do when you are connecting with someone, right? When you are building that relationship with someone, because we all know at the end of the day that if people like us and trust us, guess what? They're going to do business with you. Sooner or later, somehow they're going to do business with you. It might not be now. It might be in a year. It might be in 2 years. It might be in 3 years. They might finally buy a product from you. They might finally build a business with you. Something they're eventually going to do, right? Something. So what are we on? O, right? Over prospect. What I call OPO. Okay, what does that mean? Other people's opinions. When it comes to prospecting, guys, you have to understand like that's going to come up. Right? And people talk about the haters, right? I don't really love talking about haters. I don't like to put it out there. I'm just not someone that, I just don't speak it. I just really don't, okay? So this is the thing that I think is important. You have to let other people's opinions, I tell people it's important that you have to let that motivate you. Okay? You have to let that motivate you. Other people's opinions, I always stop when they give me opinions, right? In my business. A lot of times I was afraid to prospect or talk to people that maybe were more skilled in other areas than me, or people that I looked up to. I was nervous to talk to them, right? But I have to tell you guys is that other people's opinions are other people's opinions. And you have to look at, like when I would have people that would say stuff to me, I would stop. And internally I would say, Sarah, do they have what you want? How do they treat their spouse? How do they treat their kids? How do they treat other people, right? You know what I mean? Do they have the morals that I want? Do they have the values that I want? What is their character? Do they have a home that I want? How do they treat their body? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, do they have those things? And if they don't have those things, then don't listen to them. But if they do, well, then listen to them. And so it's helped me over the years, even now, where I stop myself and someone might say something, even maybe someone that I kind of respect, right? Or respect. I have to go, okay, Sarah, do the inventory of that, right? And then I would stop, acknowledge that, and I would move on. So I think it's important for us guys to know that like there's going to be people that come up in your life and you're just going to have to keep moving on with that prospecting, that whole process, right? Even the people that you talk to, right, that might say different things, right? And my doorbell's ringing, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep going. So it's either Modera or Amazon Prime. Here's something that I wrote down that was so powerful, and I still use this. 20 years later, I still use this when I'm prospecting, okay? Because there's days, guys, that you're gonna have great days with prospect, and you're gonna have crappy days, and there's gonna be days that you want to throw the towel in, and you're gonna have days that people are gonna have to remind you why you're doing this deal, right? Even to this day, people have to remind, Tony and I, we look at each other and we're like, tell us why we're doing this again. Guess what? Because it's hard, right? And it's like we're human, and we have emotions, and we all go through good days and bad days and ebbs and flows and all that stuff, right? But I remember writing down on a blue card, one of my early mentors, he said, Sarah, I want you to write this down. I quit on my dreams because. And he said, whenever you have a bad day, whenever there's someone that says boo, and they say no, or it's negative, or you have someone in your business that quits, or you have whatever, or you've talked to 20 people and everyone said no, or whatever it may be, he's like, those days that you feel like you want to throw the towel in, you read that card, and then you repeat the reason that you're feeling junky after that. So there's days that I would read and I would say, I quit on my dreams because someone told me this was stupid. And then I would be like, oh my God, that is like, Sarah, get it together. Get it together, right? Come on, put your big girl pants on and like, let's really like, why are we really doing this deal, right? And so it helped me just kind of like step back, reevaluate and go, Sarah, come on, right? And so I want to encourage you guys to have one of those cards and maybe write it on your bathroom mirror. Maybe have it written down somewhere when you have a day, right? That sucks. That you're like, that's it, right? Everything just kind of compiled on top of each other and you're like, I'm done, right? And you're gonna write that down. And I'd love to say like, you're not gonna have that day, but you are. Let's be real. Like we're gonna build a business and we're gonna have an amazing time together and we're gonna travel the world and we're gonna change a lot of lives. And then there's gonna be a lot of stinky days too, right? That's a life of an entrepreneur. But that really helped me when it came to other people's opinions, things that happened when I was prospecting my business, okay? Next one. S, stories, right? Stories are so important. And what I love about this group, guys, there's tons of stories that are being told. There's so many great things in here. Learning how to be a storyteller, right? I collect stories like crazy when it comes to prospecting. I think it's so important, guys, for all of us to realize that the biggest barrier in our business is us. I'm gonna say that again. The biggest barrier in this business is us. And so one of the things that I wrote down too is that a lot of times your own words are the worst tools possible. Your own words are the worst tools possible. And what I mean by that is sometimes we can regurgitate way too much stuff that will get somebody in the business and get them out of the business in the same breath. Okay, we've all experienced that, right? We've experienced someone being super fired up and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this business. And you're like, what the heck just happened, right? And so when I learned how to tell stories, right? When I learned how to tell stories of people, because this is what I'll share with you. Majority of people that you prospect cannot relate to you. I know you think that, I know you don't want to believe that, but the majority of people that we prospect cannot relate to us. So you have to be smart enough to have what I call like an arsenal of stories that I can pull out and share with different people, okay? So I have a lot of different stories, guys. I have actually 3 types of stories that I have in my arsenal. My first type of story, okay, that I think is important is that you've got actually 3 business types of stories, okay? Yeah, I also have product stories, but I have 3 business stories. So the first one that I have is I have part-time stories. I have people that have earned, $250 a month in this business, right? $250 their first week, whatever it may be. I also have what's called replacing income stories, right? So I've got people that are part-time that I've been able to transition full-time. I also have people that kind of like flat out getting wealthy stories, right? But then I also have a lot of stories of different people's backgrounds. A teacher, a stay-at-home dad, a single mom, a plumber, a network marketer, someone that's never done this business before, right? I've got all these different things that I think is so important that will help you grow your business, right? So having these stories, and I actually have a journal. I have a journal that on top, I wish I had it on here in front of me, but it says stories. And everywhere that I am, even when I'm in this group and I watch lives with people's stories, I write them down. I write down other people's stories everywhere that I go so I can share these stories with my prospects because that's what gets people excited. That's what's going to move people into emotion. That's what's going to get people to make a decision are the stories, not the facts on every single thing that's in the burn, right? Not the fact on every single thing that's in the comp plan, right? It's going to be the stories that get people excited, okay? The next P, presenting, okay? We all know, guys, we have an amazing ATM system, right? Add, tag, message, that's what we do. I tell people when you're presenting, I don't care how you're presenting, right? Use the tools. The more fishing poles you can have on the water, the more fish you're gonna catch. So some of you guys, I tell people, I think it's important that most of us, we're doing ATM like a maniac, okay? But that doesn't mean if you have someone that says, hey, will you grab a cup of coffee with me? Say yes. I tell people, go to the bit where the business is. Be proactive, right? Don't be just the person that's like just kind of sitting back being passive. Tony and I, we take the business to wherever they are, right? Whatever they want to do, like I'm going to do what I need to do to get my business in front of people. So I encourage people like build a business however you got to build it, okay? So when it comes to presenting, ATM, right, is so important. Now, I think it's important for us too, guys, when it comes to the presenting piece of it. There's a bus analogy that I like to use, okay? So let's imagine that Modere is the bus, okay? And you're the bus driver, and you're driving that bus, and you're driving that bus, and you're driving that bus. Your job is to do one thing. Your job is to invite people on that bus. And you're inviting, and you're inviting, and you're inviting, and you're inviting, okay? That's your job. Your job is not to decide if they want to get off the bus. Your job is not to decide if they need to jump off the back of the bus. Your job is not to decide any of that, right? So what's my point with that? My point with that is that it's so important, guys, that when you're prospecting, you need to be connecting with everybody and not be cherry picking and not saying, I'm going to talk to Joe. Oh, Joe can get on the bus. Susie, nope, she can't get on the bus. No, listen, your job is to open that door of that bus. Open, close, open, close, open, close, open, close. They decide. They decide who's going to get on and off. Now, here's the thing I want you guys to understand too. There are going to be times that you invite people on the bus and they're going to get off the bus. And there's going to be times that you're going to invite people on the bus and the next thing you know, you turn around and they're going to jump off the back of the bus. And you're going to be like, what the heck happened? But here's the thing. Your job is to do what? Drive the bus and drive the bus and drive. That's all you do. Okay? So it's helped me so much, this analogy of knowing, Sarah, your job is just to prospect and to do a good job of adding someone into a group, tagging them in the video, messaging with them afterwards, right? And using third-party tools. Like, that is all you need to be doing consistently in this business, right? The only thing, guys, that we can control in this business is one thing: who we invite. That is all we can control. We can't control if they say yes, if they say no. We can't control when they look at the video. We can't control any of that. All we can control is who we're talking to every single day. That is all we can do, right? That is all we can control in this business, okay? So that P is presenting, okay? Next thing, what did I write? E, enthusiasm, okay? Prospecting. There are so many rock stars inside of this group that are killing it. You know why they're killing it? Because their enthusiasm is through the roof. Now, I know some of you guys might say, well, I'm not as excited as those guys. Like, I'm not like super extroverted like them. I am not asking you to do that. But what I am asking you to do is turn it up a notch. Just a little bit, where your prospect goes, wow, Susie's got a little bit more pep in her step than normal. Wow, Susie's pretty fired up about this. Like, you give them just enough oomph where they have to sit up and pay attention. You got to trigger them a little bit, right? And so for us, I know for myself, guys, early on in my business, when I first started building this business 5.5 years ago, I will tell you, I had more people that said, Sarah, I don't know if you know everything that you're talking about, but this is what I do know. I do not want to miss this. You want to make sure your prospects have that feeling of, I don't want to miss this. Like, I don't get everything, but like, I'm in. Like, I tell people, you have to be the person that makes them feel like you're the Pied Piper, like you're taking them to the promised land, whatever that looks like, right? And one of my mentors, I'll never forget this, guys, and it's helped me not get caught up in the minutia of everything in network marketing and everything in any company, no matter what you're in, is this. They said this, Sarah, people are more excited about the height of your enthusiasm than the depth of your knowledge. I'm going to say that again. Somebody needs to hear this right now. People are more excited about the height, right, of your enthusiasm than the depth of your knowledge. They are going to join you because you're excited, because you have pep in your step, because you are doing something, because you are motivated. Because here's the thing, guys, the reality, most people are walking around like an empty shell. They are walking around like a lump on a log. They want to be a part of something that's exciting, that's bigger than them. They need some excitement. Most people, a lot of people, they join the business because they want some fun, because their job sucks and they're working 40 hours a week and they're paid for, you know what I mean? I mean, they're working 60 hours a week, paid for 40, right? Maybe they're a mom and they're just like, they love being a mom, but like they want to bring something to the table too. They need a little bit of fun in their life, right? Not saying they don't love being a mom, but you know what I'm talking about, moms, right? I'm a mom. I'm telling you, right? So for us guys, I think it's important that you need to be enthusiastic. You need to be fired up. But again, this is going to go back to what? Purpose, right? The very beginning of this training is purpose, right? Your vision, your intent. What's your mission? Like my missions fire me up every day. Your missions need to fire you up. If they fire you up, it's going to lead into this kind of just like this contagious enthusiasm, right? You want to be contagious. You want to be contagious in this business, and you can do it. No matter, even if you're shy, if you're introverted, if you're whatever, again, you can choose to be contagious. I choose to be on fire in my business. I choose to have enthusiasm, right? So again, E is for enthusiasm. C, consistency. Consistency, right? Consistency, I tell people, I would much rather have you guys connect with 1 or 2 people a day and have a pace that's set, right? How many of you guys, if you've ever gone out running and you're like, oh, I'm gonna run as fast as I can, and you're all of a sudden you're like, you're dying, right? All of a sudden you're walking. I would much rather have you find a pace, find a rhythm that's gonna fit you and you're consistent, right? Find that pace. I would much rather have you hit a pace for 365 days, right? A pace of that versus on, off, on, off, on, off. It's very hard to keep that up. That's a lot of energy that you're exerting versus that pace, right? And just hitting that pace. If it's 1 a day, great. If it's 2 a day, great. Like whatever that looks like for you, just do something that you're going to stick with, right? I have people all the time, well, I'm going to talk to 10 people a day. I'm going to talk to 20 people. I was like, bro, listen, let's just start with 2. And if you hit 2 a day for a month solid, like that's awesome. And then let's raise it, but let's do something that you're going to get in the rhythm of, that's going to be consistent for you, because that is so much stronger inside of this business. Okay. Last one I'm going to talk about, T, is time. Okay, guys, time. I tell people, it is so important to be in the game long enough when someone says yes. Okay. If you had a list of 100 people that you talk to, right, or 100 people on your list that you want to connect with, this one I'm going to tell you, 75% of them, they are emotionally not going to be available at this time. If you connect with all of them, majority of those guys, they are not ready. They are not ready. Maybe they're going through a life crisis. Maybe they just got a job promotion. Maybe they're moving. Maybe something is happening in your life that they are not ready to say yes to the business. So you have to be able to be someone that can cultivate a relationship for the long haul. Whether they it goes back to building relationships, right? Whether they get in your business now or never, it doesn't matter, right? But I can tell you time and time again of people that have gotten in my business because there was a small window and they were ready. It was a small window and they were ready. A week ago, they weren't ready. A month ago, they weren't ready. Years ago, they weren't ready, right? I mean, I can tell you elite after elite after elite that we've personally brought in our business over the last 5 years, that one of them took 9 months. One of them, guys, took 4 years. 4 years of being unconditional and loving them where they're at and just staying connected and just being their friend and just cheering them on when they were, maybe they hit a rank in their company. I was loving on them and I truly was celebrating them. I was happy where they were at. I wasn't doing it because I had a motive that I'm going to get them in my business. My whole thing was like, I'm just going to love on them and love and love and love. And that's all I did. And you know what? And then there was one day that they called me and they're like, you know what? I know things look great, but behind the scenes, things are not great. Like, I want to talk. Like, all right, can we talk about the business or what have you? But I think it's so important for us guys to go out there and it was Martin Luther King yesterday, right? Go out there and just love the freaking world. Like, if you just go out there with just loving, and I know some of you guys are watching, so you're probably like going, gag me, but I promise you, if you go out with that intention, if you go and you know that, and people know that you love, and I promise you that you will attract more people than you know what to freaking do with because of that. Just because of that piece of it. So my whole thing is this, guys, is that this whole thing, right? The whole prospect thing, the purpose, the relationships, other people's opinions, the stories of presenting, right? The enthusiasm, the consistency, and the time. If you piece all that together, I promise you, right? I promise you that you will build an amazing team. And this thing about time, guys, I want you to understand, like John Milton's on this live right now, right? And he can relate. He's like him and Nadia, they've gone through so much of the same stuff that we've gone through in this business. And it's important, guys, for you guys to understand this. If you have been in the business less than 5 years, you have got to cut yourself some slack when it comes to prospecting, okay? I was not the greatest prospector in the beginning. I was not great at building relationships in the beginning. I wasn't, okay? My first 2 years in this business, guys, it was tough. It took me 2 years when I first got involved in network marketing to bring my first person on board. 2 years, right? But all these things that I shared with you guys today, it's what helped me stay in the game long enough till somebody said yes. Till somebody said yes, right? And some of you guys, you know what? Thank God, like it's not going to happen here in this business. You know why? Because we have a great leadership team that is so solid and they're so good with teaching the basics and the fundamentals. And we have a great company that has amazing products and it's not expensive for people to get involved in and people can make money right away, right? It's not going to take you that long, but I want to share with you that, you know what, like it might take you a little longer to get it going, but that's okay. That doesn't mean you suck. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that you just got to keep doing more, right? Doing more of the same and remembering like this whole process, right, that I talked about with prospecting and knowing that, you know what, someone shared with me a very simple formula. They shared with me, some of you guys might have heard this, but I'm going to wrap it up with this. There is a formula that's called 1-3-5-7. Okay, 1-3-5-7. Your very first year in network marketing is not to become a rock star. I know a lot of us, we look around and we see all this just crazy uber success that's happening in this group, right? It's happening, yes. But that doesn't mean you compare yourself to that person. Your very first year in this business is to become proficient. And I know for some of you type A's, you don't want to hear this right now, but I'm telling you, okay? Is to become proficient. Is to start getting the skills down of inviting and working, learning the ATM system and learning how to do a good three-way, chat, right? Learning how to do these things, right? Is become proficient, right? Your third year in this business, guess what it's to do? It's not to be a rock star yet. Your third year is to learn how to take your part-time income into a full-time income. Now, at Modair, can you do that faster? Are people doing that faster? Yes. But it's important to manage your expectations in this business to keep you around long-term. We want you here in 20, 30, 40 years from now, right? So your third year is to go from part-time to full-time. Your fifth year here at Modair, guess what? That's when you can start making the big money. And I don't know what big money is to you. Maybe it's 10 grand a month. Maybe it's 20 grand a month. Maybe it's 30. Maybe it's more than that. Whatever that big money is to you, right? Fifth year. And then your seventh year in this business, right, is to become world class. And guess what? None of us have been here 7 years yet. None of us have. So understanding, putting in perspective, 1, 3, 5, 7. Guess what that does for you? It alleviates, guys, the pressure. The pressure, like for some of you, I want you guys to breathe this huge relief of like this sigh of going, it's okay. I'm okay. Like, oh my gosh, I got this. Like, I got this. And if I do these things in this system and I follow it daily and I do the very best that I can every day, part-time, full-time, whatever that looks like in the midst of raising kids, working a job, building a career, going to college, whatever that is, like you're doing great. And so guys, I want to encourage you to take pieces of this training today and just tweak your business a little bit. Don't take all of it. It's a lot. I get it. But again, I wanted to give you guys a lot of good stuff that can really help you long-term in this business. But just take a couple things. Maybe pick 1 or 2 things out of this training today and tweak it. And just tweak it, 1 or 2 things that's going to just help you just completely change your business, right? On a whole nother level. So guys, I love you guys. I am so honored that I had a chance to be in this group today. I'm super excited to see you guys at SRC. So many of you guys I haven't met. I can't wait to give you guys hugs and high five and celebrate you guys as you walk across the stage with so many new ranks and all that. But just know, you're at the right place at the right time, no matter how cliche that sounds. You have an amazing leadership team. The thing that I would tell you guys is just follow their lead. If they tell you to go left, go left. Don't question it. Just do it. They have your best interests at heart. They want you guys to win. This is a team that is winning big in a very, very big way. So love you guys. Have an awesome, awesome day. And I'll see you guys at SRC. Take care.